Good morning, everyone. With My name is Michel Nicolai. I'm the Senior Regional Sales Engineer for Northern Europe and Middle East region. And today I'd like to talk about how the network can be as we project it for, especially for our SMB customers. And especially for SMB customers, how we can use Nebula for these type of customers. So I will do the presentation. I will show you some examples about the product, how it looks like, the products we can use on this. I will do a demo, a live demo, also at the end of the presentation. After the demo, there's a Q&A available. So if you have any questions related to this webinar, let's have a conversation at the end of this session, and then we can open up the mics for everyone, and then we can have a discussion at the end. So thanks for joining. To start with, we will talk about Nebula today. So our new line of for Nebula is say hello to hassle-free network management. That's something we're trying to achieve with our Nebula solution. And to show you how easy and how hassle-free it is, it already starts with getting the product in. Because when you get the product in the box, you can already start configuring your network, and that's normally you have to unpack at the customer side and you build it from there. But with Nebula you can have an advantage to scan all the devices even if they're still in the box, and then you can start configuring without having them online. So that means if the product is at the customer side and it's connecting to the internet, we are up and running in minutes. Yeah, just a few clicks and your devices are up and running. And the biggest benefit of this solution is that there is no additional requirement for any hardware or software. So anyone with a desktop or a device that can have access to the internet with a browser can monitor and configure the complete network. So with this advantage, you can install, control, monitoring from all over the world. As long as you have internet connection, yes, you can check on the status on the customer's network. And also, yes, we have a mobile app. So even if you're traveling, you get notified if something's wrong with your customer. So the software that is available is for Android and for iOS, and this app is free of charge and can be downloaded from the app stores. So also the accessibility of Nebula is very nice. Yeah, of course we have a portal where you can do all the configurations, but also you can offer a portal to your guests network. So if you have any guests in your environment and you want to have them a separate network, you can give them a nice entry screen where you can tell something about the company or the office where you're located, and then you could authenticate people that like to have access to the internet. So that is also part of this free management solution we offer with Nebula. So if we look at some other features we have within Nebula, and these features are within the free version. Yeah, I talk later about what must be available in a paid version. But in the free version, we offer also quite some sophisticated features like smart mesh. Yeah, if you have an opportunity with some access points you cannot connect by cable, yeah, then we offer a solution that we extend the Wi-Fi through cableless access points. Yeah, it's a standard feature we offered within the platform. Also, security is very key on Nebula. We offer out of the box the WPA2 enterprise security. So that means in normal WPA2, we do username password with preset key. But if we want to do more advanced, we can use a user database so that each individual user can have his own login into the wireless. This user database can be an external database, but also we offer a free database that you can use online with a maximum of 100 users. So if you have a small business and in your organization you don't have more than 100 employees, you can do WPA2 Enterprise and do the authentication on a personal level. Also, roaming is always key. Of course, all our business access points that we have from Zyzel are supporting roaming. The most important about roaming is that all your access points have the same SSID, the same encryption. You put them in the same subnet, and yes, you have at least an overlap from all the access points from 10 to 20% on coverage. So, and if you have that, then we can help you to do some additional improvement on your roaming. So we do 802.1r, that's fast roaming, but we do also assisted roaming with K and V. So that's an additional feature we offer free of charge within the Nebula platform. So what more do we have to offer within this platform? Yeah, we have features on the switch like intelligent PoE, so we can detect the capacity of your devices, and then accordingly we give dynamically the allocation of your PoE budget. So that gives you the opportunity to probably have more PoE devices on just a single switch. What else do we have? We have network protection, loop guard, so that if someone is creating a loop by putting a patch cable by mistake from one port to another in a switch, normally, yeah, your switch goes down, but we can protect this. And also we offer the virtual switch stack. That means that if you have an overview on your switches, and we can have a look later in the demo, that all the ports are visible as one, even in multiple switches. So that's a really nice feature to have a quick configuration on all over your switches. Another thing, of course, is updating your devices. I will explain a little bit later more how we see this, but we see it as a big advantage that all your devices are being updated over the air. And that means that you are benefiting from the latest features, but also from the latest security updates. You can do this fully automated, or you can do this a little bit managed by yourself. So you can extend it to a certain time or a certain period where you can see when this can happen. Yeah, if it's less critical, then you can run the updates frequently every week. Maybe during midnight, that's most convenient for everyone. But if it's in a critical environment, you can plan these updates as well. And this is all being handled through the platform. Also, what's in the platform is that we can offer VPNs between all the branch offices. So if you have an office and a headquarter, then it's really easy when everything is in the Nebula platform. Just by 1-2 clicks, you can create a VPN between the sites. If you do it traditionally, yeah, you have to do a phase 1 and phase 2 authentication to make sure that this will happen. But with Nebula, it's much easier and much quicker to set this up, and it will save your time on this. So with Nebula, you can manage all your clients. And that means that if you log in, that you have an overview of all your customers where you have um, access rights to. So how does it look like? Yeah, it's a multi-tier management environment. So if you log in, you see all the organizations where you have access to, and you can see the status of all your customers in this overview. And of course, if you see that something is happening, yeah, you see the status over there. If it's red, then there's something going on, so you might need to check that. So you just click on the organization, and then you're going into a more detailed uh, um, overview, like the overview of the sites within that organization. So you click on the organization, you have an overview of the sites, and even if you're on the sites, you can see the status of each site, so of each branch office. And even if you click on the branch office, then we're going even deeper, and we can see the network health of that particular customer on that particular place. So you see all the access points, the switches, and the gateways that are present at that site. And also you see the traffic summary there, and also the number of clients that are using the network at that time. Yes, and the majority of all those features are just listed are free of charge. Yeah, so it's just buying the hardware without any additional licenses. So to understand how the product is being managed, I make an example in the traditional way. So how we manage our network in a traditional manner, and how we can do this within Nebula. So in the traditional way, how we want to manage our customers, because we want to make sure that we are in advance when your customer has any issue. You want to be proactive. So if any customer has an issue, you want to make sure that you are the first that are being notified, and you don't want to wait for the customer to call you. So you always like to be informed as good as possible. So in a traditional way, how we do it is then we purchase equipment and we install the equipment. That will not really change. But then we will probably want to monitor the equipment by SNMP or other protocols. And maybe we want to access our customers as well, and creating VPNs to each customer to make sure that from our office as a reseller, we can check over the VPN what's going on if there is a failure occurring. And maybe we want to have a monitoring platform as well. Maybe not on SMB, everyone would do this. Maybe you would like to have it, but it's maybe too costly to implement. But that could be something. Or even you want to store data, so you can check what was happening not only yesterday or the day before yesterday, but also maybe a week or a month ago. So you can see patterns, what's happening at your customer site, to make sure that you have as clean as possible network at your customer site. And also the complex updates and the change of the settings, that's also something you need to take care of. And of course, the user and device management you need to take care of. So you see that the investment in man hours and in money is quite a lot in the traditional way. Yeah. So I project that the traditional office management would be like this. Yeah. So we as a reseller on the top left hand right hand side, we as a reseller, we have a VPN to our customers, and then our customers we can manage over the VPN, and maybe they're reporting over the VPN. So this is the traditional way of doing this, yeah, and it's a lot of work to establish this. So what we can do with Nebula is we can save money on deployment and on monitoring. So purchasing equipment, yes, it will be the same as in the traditional way. Yeah, installing the equipment, it's the same way. Yeah, you have to put on the switches in the rack and the access points on the ceiling or on the wall. That doesn't change. But what does change is that the monitoring, the access, the platform, and the data storage and the simplified updates can all be in one system, and that system we call Nebula. Yeah, of course we still have to do the user and device management, but this we do upfront, yeah, but also while we are installing this, and this makes it much more easier to install, but also to do the management. Yeah. So how does it look like? Yes, we still have the cloud, we have Nebula there, but as a reseller, you don't need to be behind a VPN. Yeah, from anywhere in the world, you can check on your smartphone, on your laptop, on your tablet, what is the status of my customer, and maybe I can assist them with some additional changes. So there's no VPN needed, and we can access all these setups from anywhere in the world. So how does it look like on management on the devices itself? Yeah, I made an example. It's a very simple network, a gateway, a switch, and an access point, and they all individually are connecting to Nebula, to our control center. So if each one of them is failing, it will be detected by the system. And then you might wonder, okay, where do we have this system? This system we host on AWS, on Amazon. And we selected this service very, very carefully because we want to make sure that your data is protected. So you see a lot of very known, known names on the slide. They all use AWS for their hosting service. So yes, BMW, Netflix, they're all there, and they rely on these kinds of systems. And is it certified? It's really certified, yeah, in all kinds of ways in different countries. So it is a platform that is protected for all different levels from all over the world. And to talk about protection, it's not only the protection of the system itself, but also the protection, how do you enter the system? Because if you're entering the system, yeah, you need some credentials. And of course, credentials, we can use username password, but username password is not secure enough. So that's why if we are entering the Nebula system, you can set up a two-factor authentication with the Google Authenticator. So that means for everyone who has a MyZyzel account, that can set up this two-factor authentication. So how does it look like? If you go into myzyzel.com, then you have the opportunity to go to account and then select the two-factor authentication, and then you can select the Google Authenticator. That means if you set it up, yeah, like this, and you download the Google Authenticator from the App Store, you can authenticate the authenticator first, and then when it's completed and enrolled it, then the next time when you log in with your username and password, they will ask about a verification code, and the verification code will then be provided by the Google Authenticator. So in this way, we have a two-factor authentication on our system. So it's not only the protection of the system itself, like Amazon is taking care of that, but also the software we are running on this, we try to protect as much as we can. So when we are authenticated and use the two-factor authentication, yes, we can also have an additional line of protection. That means that I can add IP numbers that are unique to access the Nebula control center. So if you don't want everyone from anywhere to connect into the system, that's up to you, of course, but then you can also protect it by putting IP numbers in there where you can access the system on. Yeah, so it's a setting you can do and then log in IP ranges. You have to switch it on, and then you can enter the IP numbers where you can access the system. Another thing to really protect your system is to have access for each individual. So that means that you don't need a universal login for your company. You know, so the extra protection what we offer in this case is if you as a reseller and you have people under employment and they do services for you to your customer, then he can use his own account and you can give him admin rights to your customer base. But when the engineer is not employed anymore by you as a reseller, then you can just take out his credentials, and from that time he cannot log in into the system anymore. In a traditional way, normally if people are leaving, then they know all the logins from all your customers, and that's not really secure in the days that we're living in now. So that's why we can have different uh, people give access to different organizations. So you have in the organization level, you have the administrator button, and if you push in the administrator button, you can create the name and the email account, and you can give the account full access to that organization. So if you create it, yeah, you can give full access, but you can also have access to a site only or read only. Yeah, if you want to do site only, then you select none, and then you go to the site, and then you select the site in the organization where he has different privileges on. Yeah, it can be monitoring, it can be full access, read only, guest ambassador, or installer. The monitoring is only the viewing of the static information. The full information is everything, but also the configuration. The read only is everything that is programmed, so it's configured. So you can see the number that is put in, but you cannot change it. So that's the privilege for read only. Then the other two, we have guest ambassador and installer. If you want to have a manager of your guest network and you want to create accounts to give access for your guests, then you can give someone a role as guest ambassador to get people give people access to the guest network. The final privilege we have here is the installer. So it could be that you as a reseller are only providing the services for configuration and but not for installing the cabling and the mounting of the access points. So what you can do is you can give your installer temporary access and give him the installer privilege. And that means that the installer can only register the product while they're installing the product on a certain spot in the environment. So that's the only feature that he can do. So that's the installer feature. So if we look at our product and Nebula product, then our biggest competitor in this is Ubiquity. Ubiquity is a product that is being put into market for a very low price. It's being set out that it is a fully cloud product, but that's not really the case because you need a cloud key in between. So that's something different. Also, what we have is a MSP portal that you can see multiple organizations in the same overview. We have zero touch installation. That means every device that's connecting to the internet will automatically be provisioned. So there are a lot of advantages in setting up and monitoring your devices. If you look at the on the hardware perspective, yeah, the quality of the product, we have solid state capacitors. That means that the solid state capacitors can work longer. So it's protected for a longer time of period that your product will work. And that means that we offer a limited lifetime warranty on these products. So that means that it is end of sale plus 5% for 5 years. So if we don't have it on the price file anymore, then after that date, you have still 5 years of warranty. And the warranty we give, it's a advanced replacement warranty. So if you have a defective device, you can contact our support center and request an RMA number. And if you have an RMA number, then within 2 to 3 working days, you have an advanced replacement in your office. So that's talked about our hardware compared to our biggest competitor, Ubiquiti. But if you look at our products itself, we have a complete range of products. These products, the NSG, NSW, and NAPs, are dedicated cloud products. So they can only be managed through the cloud. But we made it easier when we introduced Nebula Flex. Nebula Flex gives you more flexibility. So that means that the products that are Nebula Flex that carry a dual mode functionality. So that means that if you're not sure of going into Nebula and you don't want to buy the dedicated Nebula product directly, then you might consider to buy the Nebula Flex product. That means that the product you buy is by default a standalone product. So the interface and everything is just as you would expect from us, so that you can do all the configurations through the web browser to your device. But we give you an option. If you register your product on Nebula, it will automatically reboot and will get the configuration out of your network, Nebula platform. So Nebula Flex is a dual mode functionality, and we recently introduced our Nebula Flex Pro. That means that on our more high-end products, we have not a dual mode functionality, but a triple mode functionality. So standalone and Nebula is still there, but we also have the controller mode available. So if you might know that we have access points that can be managed by our NXC or VPN or USG or ATP devices, and then it can be managed locally. So, and that can still be the case with Nebula Flex Pro. We offer this configuration, but we give you the option to move to Nebula whenever you like and you want to test this. So it's really simple. Yeah, you make sure you have the latest firmware and you register device. If you don't have an account on Nebula, just go there and create one. It's free of charge, and then you can start adding devices into your organization. So, and if you have a doubt on the product, yeah, and you're using Nebula Flex, then just unregister your device. Go to your inventory, just clear them out, and the product will reset itself and will go back into standalone mode. So your investment is always protected. So we give you the chance to check on our new Nebula platform. And if you don't like it, you can go back whatever and whenever you want. So as I said, the upgrades for a lot of Nebula Flex devices are free of charge. So check our FTP or our website to get your latest version, and then in most cases you can upgrade your device into a Nebula version. So to give you a complete overview of what we have is these are our access points that we have today. The top 4 are Nebula only. So it's called NAP, Nebula Access Points. So those are supported by Nebula only. But if you have any other of those 6 below, so 1123 ACV2 or AC Pro or AC HD, or even the newer 1302 or 5123 AC HD or 6303 DS products, you can upgrade to the latest version and you get Nebula functionality. Yeah, but you still keep the original features in there, like standalone, and for the Nebula Flex Pro also your controller mode. And we're gonna expand this, yeah. So even people that bought these products, like the 6100 or the 6500 series, as we still selling today, and we have sold for quite some time. Around June, we offer a free firmware update for everyone. So then you can choose to have this product installed standalone, controller, or you want to move into Nebula. Yeah, it's up to you whenever you want to do this. And this is, as I said, a June update. So most of the features I showed you are free of charge. Yeah, and we think 90% of your customers don't need any additional licenses to configure your network. There are only a few exceptions, and the exception can be made by adding a professional pack or a security pack. So to start with, let's take on the professional pack. Yeah, the professional pack will give you more auditing and visualization of your network. That means you get status alerts by email and push notifications. And instead of 7 days of statistics and device monitoring, we give you 1 year statistics. And because we have so much statistics, we can do automated reporting to your customer, and then you can show your customer the health of their network. So that's into our professional licenses. So what is more in our professional license? Yeah, we can do additional bandwidth control on this. Yeah, on each port of the switch, we can do an uplink or download speed. We think that not all of our users are want these features, but in special occasions, in a more professional environment, yes, you might need this. So this is a professional feature. Also, if you are working in hospitality, yeah, and you want to do IPTV multicasting, then the advanced multicasting is only available when you have the ProPack feature installed. And with the ProPack feature, you have additional multicast features and do monitoring and reporting on the channels as well. Yeah, and the reporting, how does it look like? Yeah, if you're broadcasting multiple TV channels, you can see the top 10 channels that are most popular in that area. So you can change your subscription accordingly what are the most popular or most unpopular channels that are being watched within the network. So what more we have in the professional pack? Yeah, we can do synchronization, or we can create configuration templates so that you have a template of your generic customer and you can replicate from that template. Or you can clone settings, so from one site to another, or you can backup and restore configurations from your device. Those are very specific features that not everyone is needed, and that's why we put it in the professional pack. And also, if you want to have more information when you using the guest access, we have currently a free Facebook authentication in there, but it don't give you all the demographics you might want to see if you want to offer Facebook in a business environment. So Facebook has an upgraded version for their authentication called Facebook Wi-Fi, but this is a paid solution and we offer this in our Pro Pack. This feature will be introduced in our June update. So then we have, next to our professional pack, we have a security pack, and the security pack is only valid for our gateways. And the gateways can have antivirus, content filtering, intrusion detection, and can do some additional analysis as well. So how does this look like? Yeah, we can do application awareness, and we can see what kind of applications are being used within the network. Yeah, that is something that we have as a service. What do we have more? We can understand the internet usage as well. Yeah, we can see which website is being viewed most of the time. Yeah, so then we can understand this functionality and what's being done over there. What more? We can do antivirus reporting, so we can see if something comes in and that is being blocked from one of the customers. So those are typically security features that are in the security pack. So to give you an overview of what we have is in the Nebula free, we have, let's say, all the features you might need for 90% of your customers. But in some occasions, in that you're working in more professional environment, you might need a professional pack. And the professional pack can be an annual license or a lifetime license. The cost of the lifetime license is approximately 3 to 4 years of an annual license. So if you consider taking for a longer time, make sure you take the lifetime option. Another benefit taking the lifetime option if you want to do upgrades. So if you, for instance, now have an AC product and you want to change it for a more high-end device, maybe next year, then you can take one out and then next year you can replace that for a new one, and the new one will also fit on the lifetime license. Then the last part is the security pack. The security pack is the pack that gives you all the security applications that can be run annually on your gateway. So the access point I showed you with the APs that are coming up later on this year that will also support it. And then you can have these kinds of configurations. You can use Nebula free. Yeah, you buy once and you install. You take the settings and the features how they are, but you can also upgrade to the security pack or professional pack or use them both. So I showed you some model numbers, but I'll show you some pictures as well. These are our gateways, Energy 50, 100, and 200. They come with a 1-year Pro Pack and Security Pack by default. And if you need more performance, then we can give you the NSG 300. So these are dedicated Nebula products. We also have Nebula Flex products. These switches, the new ones, the GS1920 V2 series, and the XGS 1930 are dual modes. So you can run them both in standalone and in cloud. And then we have the NSW series that are cloud only. For the access points, we have again the dedicated ones, the 2x2, the 3x3 smart antenna, and a outdoor unit. And of course, we have the Nebula Flex devices. There we have some similar devices there as well, but we also have more flexibility in this one. And currently we have two Nebula Flex Pro devices with the 5123 AC HD and the 6303 DS that comes with a 1 year Pro plus a 2-year bonus. So that's the overview we have on Nebula. So let me give you a quick 5-10 minute demo. How does Nebula look like live? After my live demonstration, we have a Q&A. So if you have any questions, we can talk over that after the demo. So let's go to Nebula. So 1 second, and we'll show you. So here we have Nebula. You see on the top nebula.zeisel.com, and we log in. I use my own credentials, but if you want to test yourself, then use the live demo credentials and you can play around by yourself. I'm now using my own credentials to show you some live information. So now you see I'll join the Nebula Center, and these are all the customers or the organization I can manage. For this presentation, I'll take our own infrastructure. So let's give the overview first. This is Zeisel Europe, and there you can see that in all our branch offices. So you compare this with, let's say, a grocery store that has a head office and some branch offices. The same here, and you see all the different subsidiaries what we have and how it's been run. Yeah, and for instance, we take Spain as an example, just to pick one. Yeah, we go more in detail what's happening over there. You see access point, the switch gateway. It's a very small office, I have to say. It's not a big office, but you see all the information that's being gathered from that site. And every time when you click on, for instance, a switch, you can see more information on the switch. Yeah, you see the type of the switch, you see how long it's online and everything. And if you want to move more information, just go on the switch and click it on the switch again. Yeah, and then you see more detailed information on the switch. You can even see where the switch is located in Google Maps. But also you see the ports over here, which are being used. Yeah, all are green, so they're all gigabit. The PoE is with a P inside, and this one, port 10, is the uplink port. Yeah, and you can do all the live tools here to reboot the switch remotely or put on the locator LED, but you see all the information here from the switch itself. But if the switch itself is not detailed enough, yeah, just click on one of the ports, yeah, and you see the information on the port itself. Yeah, in this case, it's a PoE device, it's a access point that's connected to this, and you see the utilization and the power consumption during time on this port. And you see this in all the details. Yeah. So if we go back, we can also look on the clients. Yeah. What are the clients that are connecting into my network? And these are all the clients that are visible in this. Yeah. So on the AP level, I have the same thing. Yeah, access point. I see the access points that are available. I just click on the access point and I see the details on the access point. Yeah. So every detail is there. You know. So also on the organization level, yeah, I have here, for instance, the inventory. This is the inventory of all the products that are being used in our system, and you can see where they are located. Yeah. So all the information is there, and I can have the complete overview of everything what's happening within my organization. So I want to close off my live demo here and go back to the presentation, and we'll move to our Q&A. So I will check on the attendees if anyone likes to ask a question or anything, just unmute yourself and feel free to fire your question if you want. Anyone? Is it all clear? I don't see anyone unmute himself. So I think there are not that many questions. If you might have any question, just contact our sales office. You can use the email address that's being provided through the webinar as well. And then we can answer that, of course. If there's no other question, I will close off this session. I would thank you all for attending this webinar, and hopefully to see you soon on another topic that we will present through our webinar system. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.